David Young is joining us here in the studio. Welcome aboard, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for taking interest in me and my campaign.
Why did you decide to do this? So first off, we should just introduce you. You worked as a chief of staff for Senator Grassley for years and years. You lived in Washington, worked on his staff.
Yep, the past 7 years.
You're sort of basically the CEO of the office there.
Well,
he would be the CEO.
Yeah, his name's on the door, not mine.
You'd be the vice president sort of then. So you kind of run the office. So management is your skills? You're a manager?
Yeah, leadership within the office and servant leadership, making sure that he's got the correct communications, legislative, administrative staff in place to work for Iowa.
Are you an Iowan yourself?
Yes, I was born and raised in Van Meter, and I live there now. I woke up there this morning in the rain.
Okay. You don't have a roof on your house?
Yeah. No, it's not like I was in the lawn or anything.
You passed out again, eh?
Well, I can see the stars at night, so it's kind of nice.
You decided to come back to Iowa then and launch a Senate career. You looked at how the big guy ran his office. Hey, I can do this.
Well, he's taught me a lot. He's a good friend and mentor, and he's very effective and a great citizen legislator. And Iowa's vote's been canceled out too long. Not that he hasn't been able to pass legislation, but he's done a lot with investigations and oversight. And I want to make sure that Iowa has a vote in the Senate, and I think I can hit the ground running.
Now, that's interesting you'd put it that way, because Senator Grassley is right of center and Harkin left of center, and you're describing a situation where in many cases, they nullify each other's vote.
They kind of cancel each other out. I mean, on some issues, they get together.
Right. But doesn't that sort of describe the character and population of Iowa? People ask me all the time, how do you account for Grassley and Harkin coming from the same state? Well, the state is in many different ways in the middle of a culture war, and we're evenly divided in a lot of different ways.
Sure, but if you can elect one senator who's right of center, why not two?
Well, a number have tried to take out Senator Harkin. Nobody wanted to do it.
And now I'm trying.
I shouldn't say that. A number of people tried. A number of people wanted to do it, but then just incredibly unsuccessfully. He was just one of those. Whatever you say about his politics, he was a masterful politician.
I saw him in Van Meter over Memorial Day, Senator Harkin. He was at the Iowa Veterans Cemetery, and he and my dad kind of grew up a little bit in coming Iowa together, so he and my dad chatted a little bit, and he had some nice things to say to me. It was very encouraging, actually. So
okay,
I like him.
Well, so are you an attorney? I mean, where are you? What is your background?
I born and raised in Van Meter until the age of 15. We moved into Johnston. Graduated from Johnston High School in 1986. Started out at Buena Vista College, and then ended up graduating in 1991 from Drake, where I was an English major.
An English major?
We have enough attorneys out there in Washington.
Okay. You went to Buena Vista? That's a Methodist school, isn't it?
I don't believe so.
Was or is?
Maybe it was. They certainly didn't talk about it a lot.
Well, I think Methodists are pretty shy about those things. They should be.
We're methodical. I grew up in the Methodist Church in Van Meter.
All right. So anyway, back to the point. Why did you decide to do this?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it when Senator Harkin retired, because I thought there were a lot of folks who were very formidable and probably going to jump in this. King, Latham, Northey, Reynolds, Schultz. And one by one, they dropped out, and I said, David, here's an opportunity to take...
Actually, they didn't drop in.
Yeah, there you go.
They never got into it.
Here's an opportunity to take your public service to another level and work for Iowans.
Are you surprised that none of those guys went for it?
I was.
Of all those who were speculated about, any more surprising than the others? For instance, I was halfway surprised that Congressman King didn't, a little bit. Not stunned, but kind of halfway curious that he chose not to.
I think he could have pulled it off.
You think so?
Yeah. He was Steve King is right on the issues, and you don't underestimate any politician. And he ran a masterful campaign last time around, and beating a big-name Vilsack, and so he's disciplined. He knows what he's doing, and he serves Iowa well.
Senator Grassley is not hard right, but he is not a moderate either. He's sort of in the cracks between Steve King and maybe even Governor Branstad. Somewhere in between there is Senator Grassley. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I do. And I agree with him on a lot of the issues.
So,
but I'm not riding his back. I'm my own guy, and I have to run my own campaign. And I'm
okay. Well, establish yourself, and tell me what is floating your boat. What's the fire in your belly about?
Well, looking at, I was with my nieces and nephews a month ago, and I just said to myself, are they going to have a shot at the American dream, as I have, you have, and with almost a $17 trillion debt in this government that's not accountable to anybody, seemingly. That kind of stuff really irked me, and I wanted to get in there and see what I can do to help. So, watching out for the taxpayer, kind of a watchdog conservative is what I'd call myself, or what people call me.
Like the old H.R. Gross? They say just say no, battle the spending at that level, and you're shaking your head. Do you agree with that, or where would you be where would you see the fiscal restraint coming from?
Well, I would take a look at every bill that came down and said, is this really necessary spending? Is this spending that could be done at the local level even? Is this necessary? Is this duplicative?
Well, how about, is it legal?
Is it legal? Is it constitutional?
Yes.
Does it make sense? Is it just spending for the sake of spending, for a constituency, or just for politics?
So would you be social conservative? Would you?
Socially, I am. I believe yeah.
In what? Describe yourself.
Pro-life, pro-traditional marriage.
On the fiscal side, what?
We need to... these IRS investigations that are out there,
right?
Out of control IRS.
Right.
One way we can take care of that is making our tax system flatter and fair, so we can just maybe send it in on a postcard and do away with some of those IRS.
So you're a Forbes flat tax guy?
Well, flatter seems fair to me.
Okay.
So
you're not the sales tax guy. You're not that part of the tax reform movement.
That has an appealing sound, but I'm not sold on that.
Okay. The issues that are most important to you right now?
It's watching the taxpayer's dollar. Really, it's just the fiscal issues and the out-of-control government, the unaccountable government that we have. We're seeing it with these scandals right now, the IRS, the AP scandal with the DOJ listening to their phone calls.
Should heads roll?
Heads should roll. Yeah, somebody's got to be accountable. You can't just slap a wrist. I mean, people need to be accountable. The truth needs to come out.
And then what?
Then the heads should roll. And
Some more.
And you can't investigate yourself. With the IRS, we need a special counsel in there. I mean, if you did something wrong and you said, oh, well, I'll just do a self-check here and see what's going on.
I already know what I'd say if I get caught doing something wrong. I will say, number one, I failed my own standards. My bad, and I take full responsibility.
Won't happen
Next
again.
question.
Yeah. Not good enough. You're laughing at the guys in the booth.
No,
they know you too well.
No, I'm just saying that's how you answer those questions. You take full responsibility and then go out for lunch. Nothing ever happens.
It doesn't work with me.
Okay, so when heads roll, I mean, you're literally meaning heads roll.
Well, I got to bring back the guillotine.
Why not? I mean, you're already wimping out in your first day?
No guillotines in my platform.
All right. A hard line has been taken. No guillotine.
Maybe a finger will cut off. We'll start there.
We'll just do minor, non-essential appendages first. Well, folks, we don't have a lot of time with our in-studio guest. This is his introductory visit with us. He wants to be a U.S. Senator. He wants to represent Iowa. I'm asking him some of the basics. Are there some questions more important to you that are issue-based that you'd like to pick his brain on? The phone lines are yours, 284-1040 or 800-469-4295 in a sec. Mickelson here with you. David Young is here, former top staffer to Senator Chuck Grassley, decided to turn that experience into a quest to take over from the stepping down to Senator Harkin's opening seat. Right now, if you'd like to chat, join us. This is Jeff. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Jeff.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Well, I just want to give you a little advice. If you're going to run against Braley, you're going to have to get more fire in your belly than what I hear today.
Well, I have fire in my belly. To run for a race like this, you can't be half-hearted, half-bellied, or anything like that. So I quit my job in Washington, moved home because this matters a lot to me, to my family, to Iowans, nieces and nephews. And Braley is, I've never met him. I'm sure he's a nice guy with good intentions, but I think he's the wrong prescription.
There's nobody nice in politics. He's gonna roll you like a bowling ball. You got to get mean.
Can you buy? He doesn't think you're mean enough. Does it take mean to be successful?
I think it takes persuasiveness and being right on the issues and just having a temperance. It's 17 months. I'm going to slog it out. I don't think Braley is right for Iowa.
Why not?
His policy positions.
Like what?
Obamacare, Keystone Pipeline, taxes.
Okay.
He just voted against the Keystone Pipeline when he was for it before. I mean, that provides energy and jobs and national security for America. I don't understand why we aren't getting that done. Obamacare, I mean, we're seeing what's happening right now with premiums rising, rate shock, and how that affects the families who are tightening their belts enough. They can't afford family vacations, the price of fuel, that kind of stuff. Employers are dropping coverage for folks, paring them back from full-time to part-time, so there's more money or less money in the pockets of folks. So that's an issue, too. So the policy-wise is going to win the South. It's about ideas. I don't have a record, so I can create a real contrast with my beliefs in conservatism versus his beliefs in liberalism.
Well, Congressman Braley, who is running for that, as far as we know, he's the only one that is so far declared. He
is, and him not having a primary, I mean, where's the fire in that belly? There's a primary on the Republican side. There's a little more fire over here right now, and it's going to heat up. The water's warm. A primary is good. It'll bring out the best candidate raring to go against Braley.
Matt Whitaker announced yesterday.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And have you formally announced, or are you still doing the fact-finding, checking the water phase?
I am in the water, and it's warm, and it's rising.
So you are a declared candidate.
Yeah. On Saturday at Raccoon River Days in Van Meter, I was at the celebration. Went down to Fat Randy's Bar and Grill in Van Meter, had a pork tenderloin sandwich with some friends, and signed my papers, walked next door, dropped them in the mailbox. I'm in. I'm raising money. I'm going around the state. I'm talking to people. I'm in.
Okay. What about the issue on immigration? I know Chuck has been dealing with that issue. He's a skeptic, and he's expressed his reservations to say, we did this once before, and we got hustled. We don't want to get hustled again. You got the Gang of Eight pushing their plan forward. It looks like even Rubio's getting a little bit soft on the issue, and I'm getting at home, I'm getting push-pulls on this question by fake organizations pretending to be conservatives. What is your thinking about this?
I'm thinking it looks like we're repeating a failed policy of the past. I mean, you have to start with enforcing the border. You really do, and there has to be accountability there. You can't give that discretion to somebody over at DHS or some department to check a box and say, hey, it's secure. No, make Congress certify that. Make them accountable for that border. Also, this bill, it's over 1,000 pages long again. Here we go again, just like the health care bill. Gives too much discretion and too much funds to the administration. We should have broken this bill down into about 5 or 6 different pieces, from e-verified employment practices to legal immigration to border enforcement to guest worker visa kind of stuff. So the comprehensive, I've noticed that when people use the word comprehensive approach to something, they usually just lump a bunch of stuff together in it. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and you have to hold your nose and go for the best. You're thinking that's the opposite of the way you'd go. That's the opposite of the way I'd go, yeah. And what would it's like a big smoothie that they've made. It's just dumping stuff into it, making sausage. All right. So what what would be the top priorities? I know you said the economy, but what would your reforms be? What would be some of the things that you would either say yes to or no to at the moment? Well, it depends. The issues that will come down, but the immigration bill I would have said no to. Do you have? And we need to make sure that we do a budget every year. I mean, it's just astounding that we're not following the law and doing a budget. We have to, in order to get control of the deficit and our debt, we have to do a budget. Well, apparently you don't. Well, there needs to be accountability there. I mean, for every day. Who does? Who's going to do that? Well, you got to shame people. Do you still get the idea? You've been there in how long? 7, 8 years in Washington. How many of those guys even have a shame gland? Well, there are some good folks there, but there's all right. Not one enough. Hand. Start with the top. The guy you work for. Okay, outside of Grassley, who else? There's enough. Oh, you can't even. But they're not in the majority. Okay, got it. All right. We need to get the majority. Iowa is in play. We are a purple state. The midterm elections here in 2014, the party in opposite position of the president is going to gain. And we need Iowa to get a vote in the U.S. Senate. Do
you think Iowa should retain its first-in-the-nation status? And what do you think about the straw poll?
Is
the straw poll going to endure?
I don't know if the straw poll will endure. I hear a lot of people talking yay or nay about it. I'll leave that to the party. I'm focusing on my campaign.
When you go out and campaign, what would be the first three issues out of your mouth? What will be how will you introduce yourself to a fresh crowd?
Social conservative, economic conservative, foreign policy conservative, classic conservative, and we can win.
I appreciate your time, David Young. Do you have a website yet, or any place where
YoungForIowa.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at YoungForIowa. And I really appreciate you taking an interest, Jeff.
Hey, thank you for joining us this morning, David Young. This is your maiden voyage, and we'll appreciate hearing more from you later, all right?
Here we go.
Thanks a lot. Big show starts in a moment, right here on 1040 WHO.